Yo, what is up? Sharky's in the house early, man. What's up?
What's
Can you
up?
guys hear me? Check, 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 check. Ready to roll? Ooh, I think so. I think so. I can't hear that actually.
I heard it.
All good. Anyways, happy Monday, man. How's your weekend? Hope
Happy
everybody had a good
Monday.
weekend too.
It was good. It was
By
good.
the way,
On the weekend, it was pretty low key. I didn't really do much, but Sunday I went out for a little bit.
nice. Sharky's always out there, man. I wish one day I could be like you, Sharky. One day, I'll have to
Yeah.
swing by. I'll have to
Come
swing
down to
by
the
Florida.
nice weather.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The humidity kind of kills me, but
It was super hot. It's we're in a heat wave right now.
is it? Yeah, that's what you guys been saying actually. So, anyways, welcome anybody that's new. Thanks guys for supporting the channel, by the way, and the Twitter. Sharky does also. If you don't know, Sharky does like this crazy middle of the night stream. Sharky, you want to tell them what your YouTube channel is because you do have one, and we should get you up
What
there.
did I do?
I just saw on YouTube you do these pre-market preps every now and then.
Oh yeah, I did that yesterday.
Yeah,
Actually, I recorded it on Saturday.
yeah, he does them in the middle of the night, right?
I did
Like
do it in the middle
two,
of the
3
night.
in the morning, in the middle of the night. What's your YouTube channel?
What is my YouTube channel?
Oh my bother, you're killing me.
It's what is it? Is it Shark Trader? I don't know if I updated my URL.
You guys can go find them. I'll try and put them in the comments.
It's @ Shark Trades or underscore. Yeah, it's the same as my Twitter handle.
There you go. All right, right on. Well, I appreciate all your work, Sharky. You do good. So, yeah. So, kind of a big week this week. Kind of not. We'll see. I think we got a lot on deck. I mean, crazy extension in the morning. Little gap up. Little pullback in the pre. Was looking a little shaky for just a second, and then whoop, right back to. Is this highs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right back. Did we just tag the high from Friday? Yeah, we did. I think Q's breached it. So new happy all-time high day on the Q's. Is that the deal? Is that what I'm looking at?
Deal.
That's the deal. And yeah, Dow 40K plus. So yeah, I mean, we're ripping and roaring. IWM, I feel like this is going to start breaching 52-week high pretty soon too. This thing is looking ripe and ready. And there's a couple other trades that we have that are looking ripe and ready to me too. But so anyways, if you're new, welcome. What we do here every Monday is kind of just like take a step back. We get the Monday trades early. You know, a lot of that hits hard and heavy. And what we like to do is take a quick break during the lunch hour. And sorry, my mic thing is all over the place. And really just kind of like chill for a second. And when we do that, we just kind of like plan out the rest of the week, right? So, you know, it's a good time to take a break in general. And you know, take a look at what was important last week, what's important coming, and what do we have on deck. And man, oh man, we have some important stuff on deck this week. So this week's theme is NVIDIA to the rescue. Not that we need it. So that's kind of what's going to be interesting this week, right? Like as we are approaching not approaching, as we're sitting at all-time highs, it's really more like, can NVIDIA do it again? So with that, let's go ahead and get ready for the week. Let's take a look at what we had going on last week. So we got some pretty important data last week. We had PPI and CPI coming in light last week. And if you didn't notice, bad news is good news, right, for the market. So keep that theme in mind. Bad news is still good news. As we look at where we're coming from, right, we were coming out of a situation where we were looking at 6, 7 rate cuts coming into the beginning of the year. Now we're looking at literally 2. The market is pricing in like a 40% probability of 2 rate hikes by the end of the year. And I'll show you exactly what that means. But PPI came in last week about 0.5% higher than 0.5% versus a 0.3 consensus. Core PPI 0.5% versus 0.2 consensus. Super core, which is everything else minus everything else. I think it's except housing or something like that. 3.1 versus 2.8 for the year over year, and 0.4 versus 0.2. Yeah, babe, for sure. Appreciate you guys. Point for. Oh, is that Evan? What's up, Evan? One day we're gonna get Evan in the house too. And retail sales. CPI was in line, so we got PPI first, then we got CPI, and we got retail sales. Retail sales coming in pretty soft, actually. 0.4% was expected. We got completely unchanged on the retail sales front, and that was pretty much the headlines for the economic data last week. Coming into the week today, couple headlines hitting the tape. Really, just like over the weekend, the Iranian president died in a helicopter crash, I guess. And I was looking at oil initially, so no, oil is pretty much unchanged, but the chart we will look at later today, I think that's still, regardless of what's going on over there, probably ripe and ready for a nice little run here. We'll see what that looks like. China fiscal revenue shrank 2.7 in January through April amid shaky economic recovery. So I know China stocks have been on a ripper on a lot of expectations, but the numbers are still coming in pretty shaky. So that's what it is. And then Microsoft kicks off their AI event Tuesday. So not today, but tomorrow. Microsoft has a big AI event. What's that called? I had it written down here.
When's the Apple one? Is that next week?
No, the WWC is like next month. This is called Microsoft Build is the AI event, and that starts tomorrow on the 21st. And today, I believe they also have a Surface event. Collab stock market news. Yes, collab incoming for sure. It's a 3-day conference for the Microsoft stuff. So if you didn't notice, Microsoft was like, for me, it was like top watch, but dude, that thing was off like a rocket ship out of the gate. That's a couple things, technical setups, yes, right off that 400 level, but also into this event, that was another one. And that's mostly it. So Tesla's getting hit this morning. Also, if you didn't notice, Tesla's apparently doing damage control, discounting for European fleet buyers. That's a rough chart this morning. I got to tell you, I don't really send much on Mondays at all. I did take a little personal.
Don't tell Jordan. I think he was long Tesla, but I think he might have.
You could have been long Tesla coming into today, right? Because it looked good. And it's sitting at a pretty key level right now where it's been bouncing. But if it loses this, it's gonna be a little dip by, right? It's all, you know what? This is all time frame dependent. Completely depends on your time frame. Yeah. You could be excited about buying it lower if you have a longer term view. Or if you're a short term trader, like trading weeklies, maybe you want to hedge if it goes any lower or flip it. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. What's up, Marco? So yeah, those are the main ones. Sharky, did you see anything else catching your eye on the tape? There's a couple other things, some Apple stuff.
Yeah, Apple was decently strong. I think we also were talking in the pre-market that I knew it. That NCLH is having some type of investor conference. So the CCL is also getting some moves off of that.
Which your boy is long.
Oh yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. So. Your boy was long some CCL, longer dated call options, which everybody should have. Or not, take it for what it is. But yeah, CCL, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, all I think 50 or Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, heavy hitters this morning. CCL kind of at the bottom of the pack for the cruise lines, but yeah, I think it was Norwegian major update to their guidance, significantly higher. So they're all getting a huge pump. Sleeper 52-week high today, if you didn't notice, is 3M.
Yeah,
do you remember that one? Sleeper 52-week high. A little turnaround story going on over there. If you didn't know, they did spin off their healthcare unit, and they did get a new CEO. So typically, it takes a long time for a real turnaround to happen, like a couple of years. But this is getting some early love for sure. So another one. We are long in the club. So anyways, I'm just going to do a couple quick updates, right? So we talked about seasonality and we talked about presidential cycles. I did want to bring this chart up one more time. We haven't looked at it in a while, but this is where we are in terms of the 4-year cycle of a presidential election cycle. This is where we are. So June, of the election years, you tend to have a little bit of a summer rally. And that's kind of what we're looking at, right? This little dip is typical. It's probably a significantly smaller dip than what I mean,
Well,
I
what
think
dip? We're
we're
sitting at
coming
all-time
out of
highs.
this really like we're this is the 100-year cycle, right?
Yeah,
But I think this is the month of the year that we're in. We're probably actually closer to this maybe on the chart. We're actually maybe down here. So this might be lagging a little bit from where we are in the actual market.
Well,
But
and
hey,
also, like you were saying, this is a huge chart. We're looking at a huge time frame here. So it's
yeah,
all
well, this is 100-year data set, right? So 100-year data set of the 4-year presidential cycle. In the month of May, this is where May lands in the 100-year data set. So all that to say, the summer rally isn't that uncommon in the actual election year. So take it for what it is. Normally April is not a good month, but this or April is a good month. This April was probably the worst, and so it probably pulled all of that forward a little bit. And I mentioned the where the CBOE is forecast, right? Legends Fate. I will talk about Oxy. We'll bring in some of these charts later on. So I love Oxy, by the way. So this is the September rate hike. Right now, this is what the market is currently priced in. So when I bring these charts up, this is what's currently priced into the market right now today. So for September, there's nothing in July. July, they have like a 75% probability of doing nothing. This is sitting at about just under 50% probability of a rate cut for September. So this is what
I think we're half and half. Yeah, I was looking at that over the weekend. But hey, do you notice something? Do you think I'm looking a little stylish today? A little
Look
bit.
at that.
Something here.
I love it. Nice little dad cap, man. Very nice. So about a 50% rate probability of a rate cut is being priced into the market for September. And so if we pull that forward, then what we want to do is we look at January to see where's the market pricing in for the full year. And so when we look at, it's not December specifically, it's January, believe it or not. So when we look out to January, now we're looking at like a 30% probability of being a 1 rate cut for the full year, and about a 37% probability of seeing 2 rate cuts for the full year. And that's essentially 1 to 2 rate cuts. That's where the market's pricing at this moment. So if anything changes from here, we're going to see it over there, and that's probably going to move the markets. But as it stands, I'd venture to say that this is full or like appropriate, right? If the market starts to price in more rate cuts ahead of anything, then we'll probably go higher. If the market, when we get FOMC minutes, which is going to come out to this Wednesday. So here's the calendar for the week. So this week we really don't have anything. We have a boatload of Fed speeches coming into the FOMC.
They must have a conference or something. Just
I don't know, but it's an insane amount of Fed speeches.
Hey,
alone. Yeah, so like we have an insane amount of Fed speeches. So there's landmines all over the place early in the week. Could set up for some choppy trade early, but clearly grinding higher, right? I was on a space last week and someone was saying, all new all-time highs are typically not bearish. Fair, right? So very fair. But it's
we talked about it last week, and we'll get into the charts later, but the Bulls had their chance, and we were making a joke. They're just disgraced. They need to go
it's shameful. It's absolutely disgraceful. The Bears should be absolutely ashamed. They're shame. Shame. But yeah, I think you're right? Like it wasn't this last week they had an opportunity. The week prior, it was Wednesday. Friday they had an opportunity. The setup was there, right? And what we're saying is that, look, we have a clean open below. We have a little press below. The setup is there to see a big flush down. And the Bears just like they're in hibernation, right? And it's not to say that the Bulls are really stepping up to defend. The Bears are just not around. And so that's what's crazy about this whole thing is that, it just seems that nobody's really trying to like jump into a short. They're really just waiting for any kind of like dips to buy. And I think it was Frankie, maybe in one of our back channels, who had said, or one of our spaces, who had said, he felt like a lot of big money might have been caught off sides in this low volume rally, and is really just trying to play catch up. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Like it makes perfect sense. Was that last Wednesday, or not, the 2 Wednesdays ago, crystal clear opportunity for the Bears to really hammer on a reversal. Just didn't even show up, right? Not even in the locker room, couldn't even be found. Right? And then again last week towards the close, closing on the lows. Look at this today, right? Like closing on the lows on Friday, did nothing, right? Complete ripper. So, it is what it is, but up here it's gonna get a little choppy because we will see these little presses higher and then a quick pull down. But look, they're getting bought, and that is typical price action when we do see new all-time highs in whatever it is that you're trading, right? But I think it's gonna come down to this Wednesday in terms of the economic data, right? And so the reason I brought up that Fed forecast, or the CBOE Fed Watch tool, is to say that if those forecasts change, then we might see some movement in the real markets, and that's probably going to show up this Wednesday. FOMC minutes recently have been kind of like non-events. I might go out on a limb and say, look, the market now priced back into that 1 to 2 rate cut probability for the year, like kind of like that Goldilocks. If there's like rhetoric in the notes about absolutely no rate cuts, we might see that pull back a little bit, and that's probably the biggest risk. So the risk number one to me is like FOMC minutes on Wednesday, and that comes out kind of mid-market, and then and then we get into earnings. So we have NVIDIA earnings. We'll get to that in just a second. And we also have, so here's the data, right? So for 2024 Q1, we have 25 beats, two misses. Last quarter was the best quarter we've had on record. This quarter is not bad, right? It's not as good as last quarter, but this quarter is not bad at all. And we don't have a whole lot on deck in terms of the Dow 30 this quarter. But right now we've got a couple others. Side note, are you familiar with Wix at all?
I did see they're are this the same company that does the websites, or no?
Oh, okay. Sleeper, by the way, I've been long this like stock for a while, but go look at that chart now and you'll be like, holy moly, what a ripper, right?
I don't think I've looked at that chart ever.
Really? Let me
holy macaroni.
Let me show you.
Wow,
my friend. So this is what I'm talking about. So these are clean, right? Very clean. So this has been a setup for a while. And I think I bought it somewhere
must have reported today, right?
Yeah, so this is up massively today. This is gonna go into kind of like that shop. I wonder if Shopify is getting any love off this.
I can't believe they have this valuation. Wow.
Well, it's a sleeper, right? People just don't remember Wix. There's like, when I sent it in our group, it had to be equity trade because there was absolutely no option volatility, like no option
volume 5
whatsoever. None, zip zero, nothing. So we'll see if this gets a little bit more love, but like what a day so far. Major sleeper in general. It's kind of like that long lost, whatever. So anyways, huge move off on Wix today for sure. Nice. But that said, what they do is this is for people starting their own business or running their own businesses online. You use Wix. We use Wix to start to like host your website, and you build on Wix. So there's that. Tomorrow or tonight after the close, we have a couple big ones. Yeah, Palo Alto is the big one tonight. I would say maybe it's a standout, maybe it's not, right? But they did they had a nice little pop last week on a acquisition of an IBM product called QRadar. And if you don't know what QRadar is, I'm thinking I'll probably do a newsletter on this. But just a quick note, right? When we talk about the AI theme, there's the hardware, and then there's the software, but it all centers around data, right? Remember, good data in, good data out, bad data in, bad data out. What QRadar is, it's a SIM, or System Information Event Management product. But if you think way back to IoT, it collects all the data. So Palo Alto's kind of like putting their foot into this realm of it's security centric. Cisco made the purchase of Splunk not too long ago. Very similar product. QRadar is kind of like an old one, probably one of the originals, but Splunk was the leader for on-prem. And
I remember Splunk.
Who else is there? I mean, there's Microsoft is heavy here. But anyways, it's interesting to watch this evolution of where these companies are going. But I would if you thought Palo Alto was maybe maxed out, the acquisition of a company like QRadar to me piques my interest, not because of like IBM product. I don't think that, but because of where they're trying to go. This is a big category of where they're going. So the forecast could be huge. So there's that. Zoom, another one, Left 4 Dead. I don't know.
We'll it's like an artifact of the COVID era.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they're having a hard time, right? Like they have to deal with Cisco, WebEx. They have to deal with Microsoft Teams, which is free. Citrix is really not a thing anymore, but really WebEx and Teams.
That's old school. Wow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Citrix is very old school, but what WebEx and
brings
Teams
you back to like 2004.
Yeah. Zoom is the best product, but again, if you're already a Cisco shop or you're already a Microsoft shop, the likelihood of you having one of those, it's pretty high. And for Zoom to get in there might be tough unless you have like a Zoom room. But again, WebEx has something very similar.
Zoom room is fun to say.
Zoom rooms are fun to say, that's for sure. And then I think Lowe's is a nice watch right now. So Home Depot reported.
I like to look at Lowe's, and we'll get into Target as well. But kind of from that consumer side, and just maybe looking at it more of how that's how are they doing in the market right now, and how what's the strength of the consumer, and that's why I like to look into some of the retail names. We'll peep at Macy's too a little bit, but I feel like most of Target, Macy's, we can look at Ross, BJ's as well, all kind of fall into that kind of category. Just gauging that kind of maybe a macro analysis. Okay, the consumer's weak here. Where are they spending? Where are they putting their money? And also Home Depot, Lowe's. We already had the Home Depot numbers, correct?
We did.
Yeah,
correct.
But Lowe's also a little bit of that, maybe that summertime, springtime trade. People redoing their houses, doing renovations and stuff like that. So we'll see. And that also dovetails into spending. If they've got the extra capital to be able to put into home improvement projects, well, that might mean that a signal that the consumer is possibly sitting in a little bit better position overall than might be anticipated. So we'll see.
Yeah, bingo. I think Toll Brothers too is a home builder, but the home builders have been like freaking insane. So we'll see if that can keep going. I'm asking about Uber. Does Uber report?
That reported weeks ago.
Okay, so maybe they're dropping. Well, you guys continue to drop tickers. We'll take a look at them. I like Uber. So anyway, so there's a lot of stuff on deck. I will say there was a headline about Target this morning about them lowering prices on some of their highest volume items. So they're getting through inventory. A lot of their inventory problems are gone as of late, but Walmart, 52-week highs, huge quarter.
Yeah, they were up 6% on there. So
and holding.
And
holding, right? So like the Target, Walmart pairs trade, we'll see if that. We'll see if Target can catch up. I think that's going to be a lot of it.
I think Target's a superior brand. I like a Target store better than a Walmart, personally.
Target's getting a little bit better actually. We've been to a couple of them with the little Oracle recently. I have to say I have been to a couple Targets recently. But yeah, that brings us to Wednesday. So Wednesday's the biggest day of the week, guys, right? It's all going to come down to Wednesday. That's going to be the big pivot of the week.
Wait, is somebody reporting on Wednesday?
Somebody's reporting Wednesday after the close.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
So Wednesday day we have FOMC minutes, and then Thursday it's going to have whatever happens on Wednesday is going to be nothing compared to what happens on Thursday, because NVIDIA and Snowflake both after the close on Wednesday. These things can go two totally different directions. Doesn't really matter. NVIDIA, what I'll say, has a muted implied move this quarter, right? So I think that's probably appropriate. I would still be a seller of option premium here. Maybe some diagonals or I'd probably do diagonals personally, but we'll probably do something in my group. But I think that there's YOLOing NVIDIA calls. Good luck, man. I think that there's a lot better opportunity in terms of option trading for some of the peers, right? So I would actually be really interested in this pullback on Dell today, actually, right? So Microsoft has the AI event coming in. We know, by the way, that there is a big PC refresh cycle coming now, right? Coming now. Dell's had a huge move just recently, by the way, but remember who Jensen brought to that last NVIDIA AI conference? It was Michael Dell, who was supposed to be the keynote speaker. So I would not be surprised to hear Dell mentioned again on this conference call. But I would absolutely, there's going to be any notable mentions during that NVIDIA call, they're going to pop off the stocks, regardless of what NVIDIA does. Any notable mentions of any other ancillary companies, those stocks are going to pop off. And I will say now, I'm pretty positive Dell's going to be in the mix pretty heavily. Microsoft, Amazon, also all going to get notable mentions, most likely. Maybe even Google. Right?
Yeah, I was about to say maybe Google.
Yeah, maybe Google. Right. This is not one where I would say like it's a pairs trade to like SMCI or AMD or anything like that. But because a lot of that's already kind of baked in. But Dell is still the underdog. So the ones that have catch up, my hat's in the ring for Dell. That's all I'll say. And then Elf, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Somebody asked about Elf. Elf's coming. Well, Elf's 155. I was thinking Abercrombie for some reason. Elf right now is getting hit a little bit hard because Ulta had mentioned something in one of their conferences about this was post earnings. They had mentioned about a big slowdown. And so there's a lot of read through going on to Elf. So whether or not they have that slowdown in the product pricing and revenues, like I don't know, but that's why Elf is kind of pulling back right now. If they do not, Elf's going to right back to the top. And if they do, it'll probably pull back, but maybe be a little bit muted pullback because a lot of that's probably priced in at the moment. Synopsis. Did we mention Synopsis is going to get a notable mention during the NVIDIA call? So that might be your like layup, actually, SMPS. Yeah, Synopsis is probably your layup, actually, even more so than NVIDIA. I haven't checked the implied move on that, but that's probably your layup to me. But anyways, yeah, it's interesting. NVIDIA is fun for sure, but just make sure you add the put, you take the at the money call plus the at the money put, add those two numbers or values together. That's how much the stock or the options market is implying the move will be in terms of dollars. And the following day, you really just have to beat that kind of move, right? And if you get close, that's fine. If you nail the number, you're gonna lose, right? Like if it's a $100 implied move, it's $9.50, and you buy a $10.50 call, and it opens up at $10.50, you're probably gonna make 20%, right, for your $1,000 outlay. I don't know that that's gonna be worth it. So just keep that kind of stuff in mind, right? Sometimes it's better to buy after the facts. But anyways, that's my guess in terms of where we'd land. Side note. But anyways, yeah, I think that's the biggest stuff really for the week. But I think, are you ready for this, Sharky? Do you wanna ping Miss Cleo?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. She's all right, guys. It's time for your favorite part of the show. This is where we get hot and heavy with Miss Cleo. She sent the forecast over early. And my first glance at it was like, are you serious? We see this card again.
I know, we see her again. I know. It's
So we had this theme card. So the top card is what's called the theme card. Then you have the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I know this card. We know this card. We've seen a couple of these cards. But this card is the card that historically the nightmare card. Here, I'll just zoom in so you see what we're talking about. So it's like this guy waking up from a nightmare in a pool of his own blood with a bunch of swords on top of it. It's called the nine of swords.
Yeah.
But it's called the nightmare card, I think, right? But Sharky, you want to give him a little lowdown because there's like two meanings to this. But
yeah,
talk to us about it.
It's not it's normally not what you what you want to see there.
Have you read this yet? Have you read her reading?
Briefly.
All right. Well, it's the nightmare card. It's got two meanings. Last time it was the nightmare, but like the thing is that like, okay, whose nightmare is it? There's nightmare or is it the bull's nightmare? And at the end of the day, you're actually waking up from the nightmare and it's kind of over. So, that a lot of times, last time I think it ended near flat, I believe. Near flat. Just a small blip in the radar, very teeny tiny pullback, and it was a nothing burger at the end of the day. But yeah, so we wake up, looks like we got our swords ready to go to war. You're like, oh crap, the battle's coming. You're building your little fort. You go see the king. You go pray with the priest. You get your blessing, and then then the war's over. That's what it looks like to me. But anyways, let's go ahead and read these theme cards. So theme card is 9 of Swords. Last week hinted at the final breakout, and we got it. Okay. It was also a 10, which means we're going 10 to 9. That series combined with the theme card Nightmares indicates that we could be retracing a bit, at least early. Oddly enough, this card is positive historically. See, now she's getting weird. She says this card is positive historically, or at least flat. This usually happens as a result of early selling that gets bought and brought back to even. So, the NVDA, maybe we rally early and then it pulls back. I don't know. But that Wednesday is going to be a pivot, right? Because we're clearly rallying early. That's what's true right now. We may see the same thing on a large scale here. So then we go into the daily card. So Monday is the 10 of Wands. That's today. Let's see how she's doing. We closed the week at an 8, and it was green, and it was a green day. Now we have 8 to 10. Since it was a 10, this could be a signal of a final push to the upside direction. Well, the word final is here. I don't want to get too caught up because she's been a little off her rocker lately. I will say that. It helps. The thing with nightmares, JP, the thing with nightmares are they rarely come true. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Right. The bad news is that if we are green here, it's likely the end for a bit, as 10s are usually finishers. However, we have a King Tuesday. More on that shortly. I think it's more important to treat this as a setup for a mean reversion play Monday through Tuesday than make a trade here looking for topping action, maybe chop. We had a gap on the queue, so I was thinking early push and then chop, at least from my perspective. Oh my God, what's going on here? Holy moly. Sorry. Oh boy. We are here. All right. So King Tuesday, King of Pentacles says continuation. So, and the king is a symbol of achieved wealth. Okay. Note, he is not a doer. He is more of a figurehead than an action taker. So this is open at the highs. However, he too is positive historically, so the week could be off to a great start for the bulls. Perhaps bears are the ones suffering from nightmares. No. I think this move finishes Monday's move, but that doesn't mean it's the end. We've achieved great wealth. Is that the king? Yeah, we've achieved great wealth. Now something has to make us lose it. But does it though? Does something actually have to make us lose? I don't know. We'll see. So Wednesday, 9 of Cups. We follow the king with another card that signals success and luxury. This also brings. Oh, this is the one. This is the one where we're overflowing. Is that this one or no?
Yeah.
I think that's Thursday.
I don't remember what the picture.
9 of Cups. Anyways, this one also brings a touch of greed that's begging for a lesson. There may even be a hint of euphoria. Oh, okay. So Wednesday's FOMC minutes. touch of greed that's begging for a lesson. There may even be a hint of euphoria. All right. I could see a bit of retracement at some point in the days, or there's like NVIDIA anticipation. That would suck, by the way, if NVIDIA just has this epic run up into the print. That's going to be a poor setup. Well, regardless, it doesn't matter, right? NVIDIA is going to do what she's going to do. She's going to be off to the races. This card, I could see a bit of retracement at some point in the day. As we go from king to 9. This card usually closes green, but it's not a trend card. Thursday is an ace, and we start and a new start, so we could be amid a pivot. Okay, so Thursday is the one.
I thought this one was interesting.
Yeah, she's laying this out a little. I glanced at this and I don't really know what the hell she was talking about. So Thursday is the one where we have the cup that's overflowing, right? Here's how this card works. It follows small red with big red. It follows big red with small red. It follows small green with big green. It follows big green with small. Does this make any sense to you?
Yeah. It means just continuation, but I mean, if we start on a small red day, then the next day would be a bigger trend day.
Oh, okay. So whatever Wednesday is,
right?
Magnify Wednesday.
Right.
Got it.
Or if it's big already, then you see continuation, but it's just less.
Oh, if it's big. If it's then big on Wednesday,
less velocity, right? Then we might still be red again, right? So let's say we were down, I don't know,
okay, half
a percent. We might be red 0.5% or 0.15%.
Now this makes sense. Now I can follow this. Got it. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Even it's a mean reversion, but not in the way of a full switch. Okay, that's not really mean reversion, Miss Cleo. Just so you know, the price action will be one way, but it may be a little slow unless Wednesday was small red. Then we're buying dips because it's going to be a big red and you buy that dip on Thursday if it's a big red. So Friday, 7 of swords, look for a trap. And bullying price action. This card has a red bias, so we could try and flush out longs here. But didn't she just say to buy the dips on Thursday? Okay, whatever. So we could try to flush out longs here. The 9 theme says early nightmares may that get resolved. So if it's a gap down, then we finish green. Okay, so open red, close green. 9 theme says early night get resolved. So I think we close the week the opposite of how we started. Well, we're starting. Look at this cues all the time high again. We can have multiple traps here. This has been a common occurrence with this card. Be on guard. Don't fall in love with any position. Don't have a bias.
Maybe more of a scalp day on Friday.
Yeah, don't have a bias coming into the day. That's it. So recap: tough week to gauge. All right, she says chop. I will tell you, I have a read of chop actually. Monday, Tuesday should show strength, though our theme says weakness. This may occur Wednesday through Friday. The theme is to buy dips. There's not a lot of energy here. Negative. Well, there's a lot of energy at the moment. And let's come over to the indices really quick. So I'm gonna hop in over to a trusty 30-minute chart real quick and just take a quick look. So these orange boxes, by the way, are an average week's range. And I use this to gauge really just general, like as an aside, there's a couple rules. So number one rule, if anything moves the length of an average week within a 48-hour period, you typically go into a holding pattern, right? And so we did do that on SPY. This is Monday, Tuesday, but like Tuesday to Wednesday, I think it was, right? We go average week's range right here within 2 trading sessions, and then you go into a holding pattern. That's very typical, and that's exactly what we got right here. So now from this morning's lows, if we continue to the upside, an average week's range would be 539. So what this means and what you do with this is basically if you see 539 Wednesday, stop, trade's over, expect some consolidation from there. To the downside from the lows, or actually from the highs of right now, Downside would be 522. So that's the maximum downside we should see for the week. If you do see 522, don't expect much lower. That would be your dip buy level. That's actually going to line up really clean.
Yeah,
with this.
that lines nicely technically with that.
These always line up. Like, it's crazy how these line up. But this average week's range, they change from time to time. I will update them also as the average ranges change. But this it totally lands you right back into this prior break. So that would be an amazing retest if we do get it right around that 520, 522 level. But again, for right now, we are continuing higher. So if we do break this Thursday high, expect 538 would be an average week's range to the upside. Even if you think that we're just like, oh, we're over our skis, look, 538, that's the average length of a weekly move. On the Qs, it's the same thing, right? If you move the average length of an average week, and look at, by the way, this is Monday. Where do we close Friday? They're pretty money, like money pretty much all the time. And if you do make that move within 2 trading sessions, which we do expect at least chop, right? What's the saying, Sharky? Markets either resting or running. They don't have to continually go, and they don't have to instantly reversal. An average week's move to the upside here on the Qs, 462.50, believe it or not. And looks like we're going to start to make that push at the moment. Average week's range.
We're getting an interesting divergence here with the Qs at the highs, but spies.
Yeah. I mean, that's so basically that's your maximum, right? If you're over 460, you know that your trading week is pretty much there. And you've made the average move, and then really honestly, like a full reversal all the way back down, would be at this point not normal. But if it did happen from the open today, an average week's range to the downside would take us to 441, again bringing us right back into that prior breakout level. But for right now, this looks like we are going upside. So 462.50 is going to be land you right in that range. Where's my, oops, I don't have it on the diamonds right now. I'll have to remeasure that. But this one is a little bit, this is one that's a little different, right? So we did breach the highs on Monday or on Thursday, but we haven't actually gotten there. So an average week's range for IWM, if she does continue, takes you to about 214, just as an aside. Downside would be all the way back to that 50 and 20-day simple moving average to about 202. Very possible for somebody like the Qs. This is going to come down to that FOMC Wednesday pivot. So if we do see that pivot on Wednesday, I would expect a retest on IWM somewhere around that 50-day, 20-day simple moving average. That would be a beautiful dip to buy, just as an aside. But other than that, continuing upside, 214 is your upside target for the week. But that's where we are. I think this is the one I really wanted to look at, Sharky. Have you been watching this at all? So this is crude.
Oh yeah.
So this is crude. We've been trending in this range for quite a while, right? And I think, if we can bottom out here, I think this is one where we're probably ready to make a move. We've just gone so sideways for so long. And this kind of basing formation that I'm looking at here, I kind of like that, right? So inside of that consolidation, we do have a little bit of Wyckoff, right? So Wyckoff meaning like accumulation. So if this was that breach high prior, so 79.84, we breached today, come back, pull in right into this like demand zone, right? Well, exactly what we're doing right in here. We want to lock in a higher low, which is pretty much going to be right where we are. So on crude, this is what I'm looking for, to lock this higher low somewhere in here this week and then continue on to the upside, because we did make a little breach earlier, believe it or not. And so that's the one I definitely have on my radar. And did you want to look at good old silver? That thing,
let's
hope silver, baby.
With the comeback from the metals,
huge comeback. So we have to pull back all the way to the weekly on silver here, right? And so if you didn't know what we're going to do real quick, we're just going to do a quick fib on this massive consolidation. I'm going to give you an extension here. So right now we're breaking out definitively. So it can breathe for a little bit, but a full extension here is going to bring you to 33.88 on a 50% extension right into this overhead supply. 33.88 for this guy. You see, do I have an average weeks range? No, I don't on this one. But silver and gold, these things out. Clearly, silver right now is outperforming gold. If you don't know, you could
it was up 6% on Friday.
Yeah, so you could just do like I just type gold silver, and there's a chart that you can pull up, gold silver ratio. This is it right here. So this is the gold. When gold underperforms silver, this goes down. Look at that. Yeah, you're dumpy. That means silver is going to underperform. That means the gold's going to underperform. Not that gold goes down, but means that silver is going to go a lot more than gold. That said, gold also is quite nice as well. Putting in a nice little higher low here. This thing is also ready to roll. It's just that silver's got a little extra beta in it right now, if that makes sense. So I think it was like I gotta go to a different chart to find it. Or maybe I could grab this really quick for you. Yeah, we're right in here. I think 242 first for your next move on gold. 243, something like that. These things are good. What's up, Anton? Yeah, so gold looking great. GDX for the massive catch up. This is the weekly. This is gold miners. My horse in this race is NEM. My big horse in this race, NEM, doing quite nice. I'm not even thinking about trimming this till it's like 50 something. But overall, like, you can always look at Barrett Gold, which hasn't actually made a move yet, or small cap like AGI, which is just like, look at this thing, off to the races. And if you're into silver miners, PAAS is your ticket. That's the silver miner right there. And then FCX for like the broad swath, copper, silver, gold, all of the above. FCX, there we go, coming into all-time highs soon, very soon. 55 today, Sharky. Yeah. What a move. Yeah, she's just going. And it's like a small little candle today. We don't have earnings for a while, but this is off and running. Breakout. Done deal. All right, guys. So you want to take a look at some other ones. So I said I liked Oxy. I'll just show you real quick. Sharky, appreciate you. If you have a chart you want to look at, or if you have a trade, I'm at it.
I don't think there's anything I have on the docket.
No,
not for individuals, but it's been a great time. I'll let you do your charts though, and I'll see you here as we come out of lunch.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Good to see you.
You rock, dude. A little bit. All right. See ya. Cool. So I said I'd go to a couple. So one question was on Oxy, right? So I like Oxy at this level, right? Nice little base. So this larger base. So higher high. I'm looking for a higher low right around this area here. So this is basically breakout from here, that 61 level, breaching the highs of 68 up to 71. Now we're looking for a higher low right around that 200-day simple moving average. Looks like we started to get it last week over here with a big giant wick. That's what I'm looking at on a larger time frame. If I drop down to, let's say, we'll call it a 3 hour, this is actually going to come in, and I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Here's that break. 66 is going to be actually a target. So here's this break. So this breakout, pullback, retest, push, retest, boom. I know that this 63, 62, 96 level is a definite area of interest where we can see them jumping in multiple times over. Here, right? Major, and all of this right here. So we can chop around here. That's fine. I'm looking for this to be a consolidation. Inside that, in the pre, we did breach just a little bit over this 63.70 a couple times. So I'm looking for pickups. I'm looking to pick this up somewhere in this area, anything in here as this chops around to me, and then start selling into strength. up to like 64. So I'm looking to kind of take this for this week up to this 20 and 50-day simple moving average, looking to take it up to 65 for the week, right? As long as it holds over 62.90, give or take. So that's what I'm seeing in Oxy, right? So dip buying here for me. Somebody else asked about Exxon. Exxon's a little bit different. This is a daily. I'll take a look at a daily on Exxon. Exxon already started to break out. It's a little bit different because it's already made a lot of the breakout move. So we are looking at this consolidation here, breaking out over the 20 and 50. So contrary to popular belief, we don't take these first breakouts. A lot of times end up like reversing them, or you wait till it comes back and you retest that top trend line. So if I can get this pullback early in the week, right in here, so this is going to work. I'm looking to set a higher low from Friday right in here around 118. So that's what I'm looking for on Exxon. This is another higher high, like confirmed. Now I'm looking for a higher low, just around that 20-day simple moving average. And it's probably going to be somewhere around Friday's open, right around 118, something like that. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Exxon. Kind of puts like a little buy zone right in here, if that makes sense. The stop would be under 117 on this guy. But that would be for that continuation. And then what else did we get? ANF still lulling. I don't know, man. ANF. So ANF had a major insides. Oh, God. Yeah, no, I can't touch ANF here. So ANF CEO sold like 40% of shares. Sometimes CEOs sell their shares just because they're going to get more given to them, granted to them. I don't know. This is all-time highs. I'm out of this short. Took a couple shots, took a shot here, took a shot here, stopped out, and haven't taken a shot since. So, oh well. If it was going to fail, it needed to be locking lower lows, and it wasn't. So I had to kind of walk away on this one. Yeah, Exxon multi-month. Yeah, you're right. So Exxon, I just gave you a very short-term view on Exxon, but you're right about this multi-month view. I'm well aware, right? So the reason that Exxon becomes a heavy watch, and I'll take all these drawings and stuff off, is that I'm just gonna hover my mouse over here. So this prior 105 all-time high, this is a massive pullback and retest, like pullback and then breakout, pullback, retest that 105, cup and handle, multi-month, multi-year, and even all of this, you're looking at that same side note, that same 117 level is actually going to line up pretty much with all of this right here. So the 119 level that we're dealing with is this same top forming action. So I'm looking for these dips to be bought like right into this, basically in these levels. So that once I click this, then those drawings are going to show up one more time, but right in here. And so that's why I'm looking, that basing formation. This is not one that like I'll take a couple ways, right? Either a small, I think this breaks out here, but you could do it near dated, or you can go way longer dated also. So yeah, there's a lot of confluence on this Exxon, and to me it's a sleeper because not a lot of people are seeing that, right? I have a sleeper. To me, sleeper also is FedEx. Talk about multi-month, right? So we'll see, right? So this is higher high, looking for this higher low. I'm sitting on my stop. I'm not closing this by any means. I'm still here, and I'm saving. Like, I think it might come down a little bit more, but I'll wait for a weekly close on this guy. But I think this is going to be viable. We're just kind of barely breaching this 200-day right now. So I won't add into this until I get a higher low after breaching this 200-day. So even if it comes down a little bit, I'm not going to buy just because I'm down. I'll wait for this kind of move, something like that, and then enter on this higher low after breaching that 200-day. But I am long FedEx. As an aside, this one looks like it's coming down a little bit right now. Very similar to me, because we're coming in right into this prior breach level, and it could just be a massive retest and go. And other people might say, hey, look, this is like big old Head and Shoulders, but look, Diamonds 40K, all-time highs across the board. Transports as a sector, relatively pretty low. I think it's from a valuation perspective, there's a lot of reasons to like transports right now. I think it's a clean catch up, but it's not like a today. It's like a much longer. Yeah, Annie was good for sure. Okay, what am I looking at? I gotta get back. So Uber. So I made ask for Uber. I like Uber similar. So if you're just looking at Uber here, it looks funky. I'm gonna take some of these auto lines off. So this is that prior break of structure right here, 63. We're coming in. We are not out of this downtrend just yet, right? We're below this retrace that we want to see. So it's likely that we just come into that 63. And, from a monthly perspective, here, I'm going to draw this line one more time. If you're not looking this far back on your stuff, then you don't see these kind of things. But, I could just show you real quick. This is all-time high prior. Prior as in, 2021, right? But if I just took this chart and said, hey, look, this is where we are, you might think, oh, that's a different story, right? So this Uber, we are coming back in to retest that prior all-time high post S&P 500 inclusion. Look where that line lines up right into this here. Yeah, I like it on any like dips in this area. So check this massive volume shelf. It's actually 62. I'm starting to accumulate equity here, just options. I got a small shot on, but it's early. I'm not out of this downtrend. I've retraced a little bit too much. We did hit this 63. I have to see what happens because it's likely that we're going to come back in there. And we have a couple big fair value gaps down here, or low volume pockets that could fill. So I don't want to see this flush in, but anything in here, anything under 64 on Uber, I think is dip buyable for a long-term view, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. 300K and $20 in 20. Oh, Barrett Gold calls for 11. Yeah. So November, I think, is like where you'd have to go. This is Barrett Gold is what he's talking about. Yeah. $20 calls. This makes sense, right? This is massive consolidation here, and this is yet to make the move, but is well on its way. It's going to make the move, in my opinion. So I think these are like not the fun bets, but these are pretty like I like that a lot. Yeah, FedEx is still sleeping for sure. DraftKings, similar to Exxon, back retest. All right, we'll take a look. I haven't looked at DraftKings. I know DraftKings, if you didn't know, there was one FLUT. I had this up earlier, Flutter Entertainment. This is the competitor to DraftKings. I think European listed. Oh my God, what's it called? You guys are gonna kill me. It's the one that you actually use when you do your sports bet, when you're not using DraftKings. But anyways, this is European listed, coming over to US soon. But let's take a look at DraftKings really quick. I don't really see it the same way. Like if you're looking at the 39, maybe. Yeah, you'd have to be you'd be looking at this right here. That 40 something level. Look, something like this can chop around for a while. But it's going to be crystal clear over 47, or crystal clear over like 50. Yeah, you go. Then you go to 60 in short order. But other than that, you kind of have two of these, like 45. It's like this $45 trap zone. So this 39 that you're pretty much clear of. 42. and now you're sitting on 43. It's essentially how I see it. So you could be stuck in here for a minute, very tight range, and then you'll have people that will be like, oh, well, this could be a right shoulder. That's a dip buy. That's always possible too. Not that that would really happen. I don't know. Total speculation. MP materials. MP is like a short squeeze, a massive short squeeze situation. This one's got some company things going on. It had like a 30% short float on MP materials recently. Yeah, this is a short squeeze situation. So it has the right story. I went for it not too long ago. Looks like it's going continually. I would probably be like leaps on something like this, if that makes sense. Yeah, I would be leaps, like $20 leaps on something like MP for sure. PayPal, you guys. All right, and then I'm gonna call it after this one. Oops, I don't get too far, not too deep. So I don't like PayPal. I mean, I know a lot of people like PayPal. I think PayPal is like a value trap, if that makes sense. You know, it is what it is. I think you could get a trade out of PayPal to like 78, but I've thought that for a long time. It's just a matter of like how long do you want to have your money tied up, right? So like right now you have this volume shelf 63. Because I can look at something like a PayPal and I'll be like, look, we have Stripe coming. You have all these. You have four, yeah, value trap, right? You know, shift 4 payments. I would much rather be in a 4 shift 4 payments over a PayPal. Believe it or not, a company like this, you know, do your own DD on that. But like versus a PayPal, who's like the old dinosaur. The thing is, like, they're not innovating. They had their opportunity. It's clearly undervalued, no question there, right? But it's a value trap, and I've had my fair share of value traps, and I'm not really willing to go into anymore. Because it could be dead money for a really long time. There's a PayPal income. PayPal income. PYPY. Yield max. I'd rather be in a PayPal yield max if I was going to sit in it, actually, because it could go nowhere for a very long time, if that makes sense. PayPal yield max looks great to me. But anyways, that's where I'm at. All right, guys, you are welcome. Eva, you rock. Anton, May, FinTrade, got you. Right, I like 4 too. 4 is good. I haven't sensed it in my group, but I probably should. JB, Robert, Legends. All right, all you guys. If I missed you, Kevin, you all rock. Marco, Gun, Sharky's the best. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it there. I'll be on Spaces later on. I'll check you on the next one. Appreciate you coming in. See ya.